Hi, everyone. It's Sam Bennett with the Organized Artist Company. Thank you so much for those of you who are here live for hanging out with me and these technical difficulties. I've never had this happen before, but Google would not let me log in to this room. Isn't that weird? But I'm assuming that it just gave us all a little extra breathing time and some time to maybe get a drink of water, settle in. And before we do anything, let's start with our breathing. Those of you who know me know that I love to start everything this way, and especially after a little tech confusion, it's good to get recentered. So we're going to inhale for a count of 4, hold for 7, and exhale for 8. It looks like this: 4, 7, 8. And I'll talk you through it. And this is a good time just to relax and get into the center of yourself and congratulate yourself for taking this time to focus on your creativity, your projects, and that which is important to you. So you ready for some breathing? Make your belly go really poochy soft. And we'll inhale, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Last time. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Thank you. Thank you for doing that with me. And if you're worried you're not going to get anything out of this, you can walk away with that. That little breathing strategy has gotten me through traffic jams and bad auditions and financial setbacks and divorce and heartbreak and surgery. It's amazing what a little 4, 7, 8 breathing can do. So for those of you who are here live, and for those of you who are watching the recording, welcome and thank you. My name is Sam Bennett from the OrganizedArtistCompany.com, and we're here for one reason, and one reason only. We're here because you have a great idea and you're not moving forward on it. And so today we're going to take a look at that and what sort of the hidden reasons are that you're staying stuck, and maybe we can get you a little bit unstuck. I'd love to know what your projects are. What is it that you're working on or that you would like to be working on, but you're not? Like, what is it that's got, what's the thing? You know, well, I'd like to move forward on my screenplay, or there's a breathing and meditation practice I've been meaning to try, or my painting, or my clog dancing, or my cooking, or what is it for you? What's the blog I want to start, the business you want to start? What's the project that you know that's been hanging around for a while? Like, it keeps tugging on your sleeve, and yet you're not moving forward on it. What is that? And I know there's a little delay between when I ask and when you type and when I see it. So we just have to sort of surf that. The other thing about this technically is that if you are having trouble, if I'm buffering, like if I get out of sync, there should be a little control panel. For me, if I move my mouse, it shows up on the top of my screen with a little settings thing. It looks like a little gear wheel, and you can actually lower the rate at which this video streams so that I'll be a little more pixelated, but the sound and the image will sync up better. Also, if you're having trouble, you may want to make sure you've closed any other windows or applications or browsers. These video chats are fantastic, but they take up a huge amount of memory. So if you've got anything that's syncing automatically, like Time Machine or Dropbox or anything, you might want to turn those off too. I'm here by myself today because I don't usually work on weekends, and I don't ask my team to work on weekends. So it's just me monitoring the chat and trying to keep all the balls in the air. So we'll just surf with that too. So let's see, hand analysis, lots, largely my writing, book promotion, singing, too many projects and ideas. Yeah, this is very common with creative people. You guys are super talented. You're good at a lot of things, and that can make it really hard to choose and to settle on one thing. Writing, building my website. I'm not working on marketing and writing songs. That's what I'm supposed to do. Okay, good. Good, good. This is excellent. I think we can make some progress on these. And as you're sitting there, and if you're not going to type it into the chat, that's fine, but make a little note for yourself. Write down for yourself specifically what project it is that you wish you were moving forward on, but you're not. Or your 137 different ideas that you wish you were moving forward on, but you're not. Or the fact that you feel like you should be moving forward on something, you just don't know quite what it should be. All of those are good. So write it down for yourself, and if you want to share it, I love that. And I want you all to really feel everybody else's ideas. Feel this whole planet filled with people who have great ideas. Like, feel the creative energy of that. Can you see it like little sparks all over the country and all over the world? We've got people from everywhere here. You know, the songwriting and the book and the blog and the business and the pictures and the stories, and well, stories about my mom and dad for my daughter. Oh my gosh, a novel, right? And think how you feel right now thinking about everybody else's ideas. How do you feel? You feel like, well, you should do that. You should write that novel. You should promote those songs. I'd love to hear your music. Well, everybody feels that way about you too. So notice that feeling. Notice that wave of creative energy. And really, like, if you're ever feeling depleted or worn out or like you're all alone, that energy is always there. So you can tap into that and feel yourself be lifted up by all your brother and sister artists, all your brother and sister writers, all your brother and sister latch hook rug makers, all of the creatives out there who are struggling with their projects too, and feel how much we want your good work in the world. The world needs your work. The world needs your art. And if you are a writer downer, write that down. The world needs my work. The world needs my art. Good. So many of you are new to me. A lot of you came through from my friend Amy Ehlers was kind enough to alert you guys to this event. And so you may not know me as well as some of the people who are already on my list or have known me for a while. So super quick, because I'm not really into doing long bios. I grew up in Chicago. I went to the Francis Parker School. I went to college at UC Santa Cruz and then Northwestern University studying theater and education. And then I got offered a job at the Second City. So I did that instead. And I spent and I was an actor. I've always been an actor. I was one of those kids who put on plays at school and in the yard and went to theater camp. And I always wanted to be an actor. So once I achieved my majority, that's what I did. And I was a working actor in Chicago and in Los Angeles, and did a lot of plays and a ton of improv comedy and a fair amount of television. And along the way, I just got really interested in this question of, how do creative people make decisions? How do we know what project to move forward on? How do we know how to promote our work? How do we get ourselves out there when we ourselves are the product and it feels really risky? When clearly there's no right way, right? There's no the way. There's no quarterly review on how your book is going. There's no raise. There's no promotion. There's no corner office. And then what do you do when you get to the middle of the project? The groan zone, the boring part. Like, you've totally lost your inspiration. What do you do then? And what do you do at the end when it looks like it might really be real? And then that's just terrifying. So all these questions got really interesting to me, and I started to teach a class called Get It Done, which is where the book came from. So I wrote a book a couple years ago called Get It Done, From Procrastination to Creative Genius in 15 Minutes a Day, and it got endorsed by Seth Godin. I'm totally not over it. And it's just a lot of questions and inquiries and imagination games and ways to play around so that you can figure out your perfect project and your perfect way to get your perfect project out into the world in the perfect way at the perfect time. And by perfect, I don't mean flawless. I mean perfect for you. I mean perfect like an egg is perfect. Perfect like a leaf is perfect. Perfect like a baby is perfect. Perfect like you are perfect. So that's my work. And along the way, I became an Infusionsoft certified consultant and reseller, which means that I'm just a giant internet marketing nerd. And I have a secret life in marketing automation. And I've won awards for my marketing. And I have a new book coming out this fall from the same publishers, from New World Library, and that's exciting. And I live at the beach. I live in this super teeny tiny beach town, about 20 minutes outside of Santa Barbara. And I walk barefoot to the beach. I went this morning and the ocean says hi. You know, I have a great life, and you can have a great life too, especially the more you focus on your creativity. So we're going to talk about why procrastination is genius in disguise. We're going to talk about how to fix that right now. We're going to talk about overcoming the fear of judgment. We're going to talk about the super sneaky way in which you are keeping yourself stuck. At the end, we're going to talk about that. And also, I am teaching a new Get It Done workshop starting at the end of this month. So we'll talk about that course and how you can get into that if that interests you. So here's the thing, right? You have a great idea. Here's what happens. You have a great idea, ding, and you have a desire. Like you feel like, ooh, I'd like to do that. That'd be fun. Guess what? That's your engraved invitation. That's it. That's all anybody gets. You get a great idea, ding, you have the desire, and that is your engraved invitation. Nobody gets more than that. Nobody's ideas come with trumpets or handmaidens or signs from the universe. This is it. It's just the idea and the inspiration and the idea and the desire. So if you're waiting for more than that, or you think that maybe the authors you love or the filmmakers you love or the musicians you love somehow get more, think they get more validation ahead of time that their ideas are good, let me tell you, they don't. I work with Emmy Award winners, Academy Award winners, some of the most famous people in Hollywood and in all kinds of industries, and none of them get any more than that. So understand that that's it. That's how God's communicating with you, is that idea and that desire. And notice that we're talking about a very specific kind of idea, right? Because you have lots of ideas that you have, ding, you have a desire, and then you do them. Quick, done, easy. It's because you've done it before or you feel like it's easy for you, right? And there are some ideas that you have the idea and maybe you have little desire, but then it's just not really right for you. And you let those ones go. That's easy too, right? Nah, not the right thing. And then there are the ones that kind of plod along, but you know, they were never really your best idea to begin with. It's these ones that hang around. It's these ideas that hang around. They keep tugging on your sleeve. You keep thinking, this, I should do this, this would be really good. And yet you keep not moving forward. Here's what this is. This is creativity as spiritual growth. Your project is showing you where you need to grow, where you need to push, how you need to become better and braver and more accomplished and more exciting of a creator or performer or maker of things than you are, right? So we're talking about that very specific genre of project, not the easy stuff and not the stuff you never really wanted to do anyway, but the stuff that's just sticky enough and feels just out of reach enough to pull you forward into your better future and your better self. So, what did I want to say about that? Yeah, so here's what happens. So then what happens is, so you have this great idea, you have this desire, and then you get stuck. Oh, I know what I wanted to say about it. This thing about procrastination is genius in disguise. This is how your procrastination is genius in disguise, because it's showing you where you want it, where you need to grow. And by the way, I believe that everyone is a creative genius. Everyone is a creative genius. Not everyone is artistic, in the same way that not everyone is musical, but everyone is a creative genius. And if you have ever solved a problem differently than anybody else has ever solved that problem, congratulations, you're a creative genius. And you may not have noticed because it probably feels really easy to you. You feel like, well, everybody can do that. No, actually, they can't. But it's easy to not see your own uniqueness because you're in it all the time. So you have this great idea, you have this desire, you feel it pulling you forward, and then this happens. Self-doubt, fear of judgment, procrastination. Do you like my slides? These are my slides. So your self-doubt kicks in. Who do I think I am to do this? Is this really a good idea? What if this doesn't work? Your fear of judgment. This is a stadium full of people judging you. And then you procrastinate. It's from the Latin word, right? Pro meaning forward. Crastinare, I think, means tomorrow. So it's to put forward to tomorrow, right? So you think, I'll get to it. Maybe later. Naomi says she loves my slides. Thank you. So what I want to know is what this is. What's the fear of judgment? What are you afraid they're going to think about you if you do your project? I would write my novel, except I'm afraid that everyone's going to think I'm da-da-da-da, or everyone's going to think my work is da-da-da-da. I would do it, but I don't want anyone to say that it's this. Go ahead and type it in, because I love to hear. I don't want to, I'm afraid that everybody's going to think my work is too middle of the road, or they're going to think it's too dark and sexy or gothic, or they're going to think I'm not really qualified, or they're going to think, what are some of the other ones I hear a lot? Like who do I think I am? Like she's too big for her britches kind of thing. If you're from the Midwest especially, that one may kick in a little bit. So what are you afraid that they're going to think about you? What's your self-doubt and fear of judgment around? This, by the way, is water with organic apple cider vinegar in it. So I realize it looks like I'm drinking swamp water, but it's actually very delicious. They're going to think you're crazy. They're going to think nobody's listening to you. It's not your work isn't worth listening to. Good. What else? What else are you thinking about? What else kicks in for you? My singing's not good enough. They're going to think she's just not good enough. She's not that good. Who does she think she is? I'm creating a women's network. I've been worried that people are judging who I pick to be a part of it, and what does she know anyway? That my work just isn't good enough to be sold. Right. Good. So again, feel the energy in that fear. Feel how it resonates with your own fear. And again, if you're not typing it in there, make sure you write it down for yourself so that you've got it on paper. Because I know you feel like you'll remember this stuff forever, but then you don't. Oh, people may steal my idea. Oh, yeah. That's a good one. Right. So feel the energy around that fear. And think about what you feel like you want to say to everybody as they're typing in. You want to say, well, honey, of course you're good enough to do this. Well, honey, of course, if it's your group, you get to decide who's in it. Well, of course, if you sing, I'm sure your singing's great. It may not be for everybody, but I'm sure somebody would like it, right? I'm afraid they're going to say I'm too old. I'm afraid they're going to say I have no talent and I'm too dumb to know it. Yes. That my upcoming album isn't going to be as good as my fans wish. Oh, yeah, I've been having a little bit of that with my sophomore. I mean, I've published. This will be my 5th book, but it's my 2nd book traditionally published. And yeah, that feeling of like sophomore slump. Yeah, that's scary. Good. So these are really legitimate fears, and obviously they have the power to stop you dead in your tracks. They have the power to stop you dead in your tracks. So they're worth paying attention to because that's how powerful they are. Yes, I've come up with ideas and then discovered somebody's already written that book, right? What if it's been done before? People think it's trite, right? It's all been done before, just not by you. It's all been said before, but not by you. So we have this fear and we get on this teeter-totter then, right? I want to do this project, but I'm afraid that they're going to think I'm too old. But I want to do this project, but I'm afraid they're going to think I'm not good enough. But I want to do this project, but I'm afraid I'm going to be uncovered as a fraud. And I want to do this project, but I'm afraid people will think I don't know what I'm doing and they're going to see right through me. Yeah. So this is very valuable insight to understand that you are on this teeter-totter, right? And that this is where you're being called to grow, because it is your ideas that will change the world. It is your work. It is your ideas that will change the world. And you know this is true. because you know how other people's ideas have changed you. You know that movie you saw that changed you, that saved you, or the album you listened to, or the book you read, or all the books you've read, and how they have changed your world. You got changed because somebody got over their fear and shared their work. And now it's your turn to do that for somebody else. So go ahead and write that down. My work is changing the world. My work is changing my world. Good. And here's the thing, again, this is why I started the Organized Artist Company, why I started teaching the Get It Done workshop. There's very little training or even idea that it's even important to learn how to manage and work with your creativity. Like if you were having a problem around, oh, I want to make more money, but I'm not sure how, or I want to lose weight, but I'm not sure how, there's about 1 billion places you could go to get information on that, right? I mean, a couple of Google searches and you would have 19 books and 13 video programs, and you could ask your friends and they would all tell you advice, right? But nobody talks about getting creatively stuck, or what to do, or how to do it, how to get out of it. What are the tools and exercises? What are the resources you have? How do you know when your fear is like really something to be concerned about, or just you stopping yourself? So that's why I created the Get It Done workshop, is to give you those tools, to give you that training, to give you those insights, and to give you a community of people that understand what it is you're talking about. Because you may have noticed your family and friends have no idea what you're talking about or why, right? They don't get it, which is fine. You don't get what they do either, so don't worry about that. They're just in your life to love you and be your family and friends, which is fine. But you do need people in your life who do know what you're doing, who do understand how important it is that you get your music and your books and your blog and your business and your networks and your ideas and your photographs and your drawings and your art out into the world. So that's the whole reason why I started the Get It Done workshop, is to give a place for that training, to make a gym, basically. So we're on the teeter-totter. I want to do this thing, but I'm afraid of what everybody will think. I want to do this thing, but I'm afraid that everybody's going to think I'm a fraud. And it's a little like that conversation between children and parents when the child is like, I really want to do this thing. And the parent says, yeah, we'll see. Maybe tomorrow. And you know what that means, right? It means it's not happening. So the kid asks again, I really want to do this thing. We'll see, maybe tomorrow. We'll see, maybe tomorrow. We'll see, maybe tomorrow. So they're in this argument. So I want to know what your conservative parent says. So your inner 9-year-old is saying, I really want to write this book. I really want to get this music out. And what does your conservative parent say? Now, darling, this is not the right time, maybe your voice says. Or maybe it says, it's too risky. It's too risky. Or maybe the voice says, it won't sell. No one's going to want that. Or maybe the voice says, some of which you've already expressed, that everyone's going to think you're a fraud, darling. Don't do it. If you imagine that conversation, I really want to, no. Not maybe tomorrow, because why? So what does your inner parent say? What does your concerned, conservative inner parent? It may be something that your actual parent or someone in your actual life has said to you, but I'm more concerned with the voice inside of your head, right? So what is that conservative voice saying? I want to do this thing, but, oh, darling, no. No one will want to be in your group. You're not ready. You're just not ready, darling. Maybe tomorrow. What if somebody's already done it? No, darling. No. Don't get a big head. Right, exactly. Ooh, Suzanne says, my inner parent doesn't say anything, so it's like talking to a wall. Oh, you get stonewalled. I want to. Nothing. No response. Ooh, just got a cool breeze off of that. That's cold, man. Good. What else? And again, write down for yourself, what is your inner conservative parent saying? Because that voice has a lot of power. Good. And I'm also curious, You need to work. You can't take time to do that project, right? You need to work on the serious stuff. You're going to get ostracized. Yes, good. And I want to know what the kid says. What is your inner 9-year-old saying? You know, if it's saying, I really want to, or it's saying, please, please, I'll feed it and walk it every day, please. So the parent's saying, get a life, don't stick out, don't be visible. What if no one cares? You're a failure. But your inner 9-year-old is saying, I really, really want to. I really, really want to. Please, please, please. I can do it. Please. Yes, yes. What is that kid saying? Maybe your kid's getting mad. You never let me do anything. Right? And there's the parent. You're a failure. You can't do anything right. You need more training. Oh. Mom, listen to my beautiful song. Yeah. Stepmother says, that's not necessary. Please, I want to help and connect with all these smart women I know. Yes, well, what if no one cares? This is great. This is like a whole play being written out here. You guys are brilliant. I love this. I think my ideas are important. Why don't you listen? Yeah. Yay, let's go for it. Yes, yes, good. Good. So you can see how this argument keeps you stuck. It rages on, for some people, forever, for years. This perfectly balanced struggle between I really want to try. Can't I at least try? It's a good idea. It'll be fun. No, not today. No, not today. So here's how to get out of it. You ready? I want you now to take a little breath, shake off the conservative parent, shake off the anxious 9-year-old, the brilliant 9-year-old. And I want you to imagine your project in front of you. If you want to close your eyes, you can close your eyes. And maybe it looks like the actual thing of your project, but maybe it just looks like light or like a box or like a star. And just observe that project inside of your mind. Does it have a feeling? Does it have an energy? Does it have a temperature, a color? Does it sparkle? Just notice that project as it sort of floats in front of you for a minute. And now ask your project, what does it want? What does your project want? What advice does your project have for you? What does your project recommend? Hear that still, calm voice of your project. And tell me what your project wants. What does your project want? Good. And you can remember that image of your project, whatever you got, whatever you saw, that stays yours. You can revisit that anytime. So you can take a little breath and come back to here and now. And I'd love to hear what your project had to say to you. Complete me and let's get going. Exactly. Vroom, vroom. Let's try. Your project says try. The project says, I want to be seen and heard and to be real at last. Yes, my project says, set me free. Release me to the world. The project says, I want to be created and come alive. The project says, stop running away from your gift. Yes. The project says it wants to be a book. Yes. The project says magic abounds. The project says pay attention to me. Pay attention. Pay attention to me. Yes. Yes. So that's you in your creative power. That's you in your creative power. The project is dancing and it wants light. The project says, accept me and let me go. Do it so others can benefit from me. Let's go. If you make a mistake, you're learning. I'm waiting. Take me seriously, for God's sake. Yes. So you can see how quickly I was able to get you from that teeter-totter voice to this empowered place. This is the place you make decisions from. This is the place you create your schedule from. This is how you create your budget. This is how you figure out who else to work with. This is how you learn how to promote your product or service or album or concept or whatever. And can you imagine the impact on your life if you did everything from this creative place, from this creative place of creative empowerment? If you had this confidence and this curiosity and this compassion and this desire to serve running your life. So you're not going to let your fear run your life anymore. You're not going to let pressure run your life anymore. You're not going to let stress run it or fear of judgment. You are going to let your creative spirit, your connection to the divine, be the engine in your life. What if you had 8 weeks of support for that? What if you had a whole year of support for that? Because you're going to wander off. It's like anything else. You have these moments of like, oh, I'm inspired, I'm lit up, I'm confident, I got it. And then 2 days later, you're like, I don't know what to do. Right? That's everybody. Don't worry. That's not low self-esteem. That's not you being damaged. That's everybody. So that's why we need support. That's why we need structure. That's why we need a community. That's why we need a teacher. That's why I have a coach, is to keep me from having that little breakdown. So that's really what Get It Done is all about. Diane says, wow, amazing exercise. Oh, Diane, you don't even know. We haven't even gotten started, baby. So while we have this minute with you feeling lit up and serious, I want to talk to you about the Get It Done exercise. That'll take about 2 or 3 minutes probably. So if you just want to doodle during this because you're not interested, that's fine. Because then after this, we're going to get to some more about that fear of judgment thing, and also the super sneaky, icky ways that you are keeping yourself stuck. So let's talk super quick about the Get It Done workshop, because it's my favorite thing to teach. Oh, where is it? There it is. Da, 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 da. Okay, so there should be a little something coming up that says the Get It Done workshop, and has the email address monstergetitdone.com, monstergetitdone, monstergetitdone.com, because it's killing the monster, not killing the monsters. It's working with the monsters that helps us get it done. And also, there's so much to this offer. It's kind of a monster offer. If you go to the website, you'll want to just click, because there's an autoplay video, and then you'll have me talking in 2 voices, and that'll be confusing. So what do we do in Get It Done? What we do is this. We figure out which of your million ideas is the right one, or what idea you want to work on, even if you're not sure that you have an idea. Or maybe you're midstream on something. This also works well for people who are managing a couple of different ideas. It works as sort of a organizing principle for different projects. We get focused on your vision and your values, your desire, right? Amping up that heart, that desire part. And then, because I really like to make things practical, we do the real work, right? We make the schedule, we make the budget, we make the project plan, and in a way that's really fun for you. So it's an art project, it's a creative project. It's not just some form you have to fill out. It's part of the creative process itself. And you get to customize it for you. So you end up with a totally personalized plan. And it's all about baby steps. It's all about 15 minutes a day. It's all about keeping that nervous parent feeling safe inside of you. It's all about keeping that energetic, brilliant 9-year-old moving forward in a structured way and inspired. And it's about having a community around you. There's a Facebook page that I'm on quite a bit, and it's an amazing community. Oh my gosh, wait till you see what some of these artists and writers are up to. It's incredible. And and then you really start to stand in that creative power. You start to get that support, because it's the person you were born to be. You're different. You're special. Your poor parents. Your poor parents. They thought they were having just another normal kid, and then you come along and they're like, "Oh, look, hello. Wait a minute. This one's different." They thought they were having a normal kid, and instead they have this silver sparkly unicorn. What do they know about the care and feeding of unicorns? They did the best they could. Your parents and teachers did the best they could, right? But you need special. You need things to be a little different because your mind works so differently. Your beautiful little wackadoodle mind. So that's really what Get It Done is all about. Some of the projects that people have done, some people have finished their thesis, some people have published a book. I had somebody create an entire telesummit that made them like $5,000. Some people just want to clean out the closet or clean out the spare room. Some people, what else? I wrote a bunch of them down. Settle mom's estate, photography, jewelry, painting, clear off the desk. Not only, and then I also see a lot of tertiary things, like I joined this thing to get my painting done, and I'm definitely moving forward on my painting, but I also met this perfect love of my life person, or I've also lost 10 pounds, or it's amazing what other repercussions happen in your life when you are moving forward on your projects and standing in the strength of your creative power. So you go to monstergetitdone.com. It's an 8-week course, including 2 live Q&A calls, so you get all your questions answered. You also get a year in the 365 Club, which is a daily email, so you get inspired every day, and the Facebook page, and a monthly call with me. So again, you have plenty of time to ask questions, and that's a year-long support, because I don't want to be just 8 weeks and then bye, never see you again. Like, I want to know what happens as these things roll out. So you get continued support that way. We don't start until the 27th, so I've got a couple of immediate bonuses. You get a couple of my ebooks. You get a thing called the Procrastination Domination Starter Kit, which is 2 of my best exercises to get you clear and moving right now. It's amazing. It's like half an hour and it'll change your life. And you get a ticket to the Big Yes, which is my 3-day event in the summer. It's the Big Yes, how to overcome perfectionism, procrastination, and self-doubt, and make $10,000 or more from your creativity. So it's 3 days in a room with me and about 100 other creatives. This is my 4th year doing it. It is the most fun. It's like the family reunion of the family you wish you had. I think it's going to sell out this year. I mean, I know it's going to sell out this year, so this may be the only way to get tickets, because we're about almost halfway sold out already. So you get a ticket to that to join me in LA in July. And I was thinking about you guys, and if I could offer you something special, because I realize this is already a lot of stuff, but I know a lot of you are writers. So if you buy this, if you enroll and Get It Done before midnight on Sunday, before midnight tomorrow, Pacific time, I'll do a special call with you guys about how I got published. Like I said, I've written 5 books, 2 of them traditionally published, 3 of them self-published. And I'll just talk you through what I did and how that worked and what I learned, and answer your questions about publishing and writing. So that's exclusive. That's not getting advertised. You won't see that written anywhere. That's just between us kids here, those who are watching now and listening to the webinar this weekend, okay? So limited time offer. So just to recap, and then we'll get back to work, because I'm super excited about this. You get the Get It Done workshop, the classic, the flagship. You get a year in the 365 Club. You get a couple of ebooks. You get the Procrastination Domination Starter Kit. You get a ticket to the Big Yes, and you get the special Sam Bennett How I Got Published call. That's not for sale anywhere. And it's all for $365. It's $1 a day for your project. $1 a day for your project. If you want to bust it up into 3 payments, you can do that. It's 16% more to cover my financing costs. So you can get started for $141. And that's what I know about that. Do you guys have any questions? I want to make sure I answer them. Good, good. Okay. That all makes sense. So go to monstergetitdone.com, sign yourself up, get a buddy, do it with somebody. And again, almost everything I offer has this satisfaction guaranteed or your money cheerfully refunded. Satisfaction guaranteed or your money cheerfully refunded. If this doesn't work for you or you don't like it, I'll give you your money back. If I haven't helped you, I don't want your money. So, you know, it's no risk to you. All the risks on me. So that's that. All the calls are done live in video like this. There might be a few that are done on the telephone only, but most of them are going to be done on video. And I would love to have you in this. If this is ringing your bells at all, I really would love for you to try this. I'll go ahead and see if anybody's got any additional questions in a second. But I think that's all I wanted to say about that. I'd love to have you in this course. Let's take a look at the sneaky self-sabotage that you may be doing right this second. Because you all are slippery. You know, have you noticed this about yourself? You're a little slippery. So you may be thinking to yourself something like, I'm sure Sam's class is really great, but I think I can do this myself. I think I don't need a class. I'm pretty sure I can do this. I want to suggest to you that your belief in your self-sufficiency is part of what is keeping you stuck in your project. If you're having the thought, I don't think I need a class, I think I can do this myself, then it may be that your belief in your self-sufficiency is what is keeping your project stuck. You may have created a perfect system in which you do not move forward on your project because of your beliefs. You may be having a thought right now like, I can't afford it. I can't spend that money on that right now. There's no way. There's too much. Sam, it's tax weekend. Have you seen? No way. There's no way. Now that may be true. And if you're having rent and grocery issues, this is not a good time for us to work together. Start a penny jar. We'll work together later. I'm not going anywhere. It's fine. But for those of you who are above the rent and grocery level issue, I might suggest that your belief that you are not allowed to invest in your creative projects or in support for your creative projects is part of what is keeping your creative project stuck. Your belief you can't afford it is what's keeping your project stuck. So whatever it is you're telling yourself right now about why you may not do this might be the wall you have to climb in order to move forward on your creative projects. Do you know what I mean? So you may be thinking, oh, but what if I'll start and then I won't see it through? Like, what? I can't add something else to my plate. Like, I do this all the time. I get started, I get excited, and then I don't do it. So it may be that your belief that everything needs to be completed that is keeping you from working on your creative project, because not everything needs to be completed. Sometimes you can buy a book, read 3 chapters, and be done. I mean, of course, I want you in the whole thing and getting every last bit of juice out of everything all the time, of my work, of course. But that's not necessarily true. You may thin slice, you may come to the first class, get a little tidbit, and be like, that was totally worth $300. I'm done. Or this feeling that you're being judged or graded. You have to show up 100% all the time. That belief may be the exact thing that's keeping you stuck. You see what I'm saying? So I'm curious, if you want to share, go ahead and write down, what's the thing that you think like, oh, I'd love to do that class, except, and go ahead and write down your reluctance, because I bet there's something in there that's the key to unlock the prison of your procrastination. You know what I mean? Suzanne says, curious about your event in July. What date? I live in Sweden. Excellent. My grandmother was Swedish. It's the 22nd to the 24th of July. It's at the Westin LAX, so it's right near the airport. You don't even need to rent a car. And we've got people coming from Peru, from Israel, from Scotland, from Amsterdam, from Mexico. Yeah, we've got people coming from all over the world. So we'd love to have a representative from Sweden. That would be great. Sandra says, I already have a coach. Great. And so this may be, too much going on at one time, which is fine. I've also found, though, that because the work I do is like the exercise we did with the project Talking to You, it's based on you. So it often goes really well with other people's coaching. Like it sort of augments what you're doing with other people really well. So that may be something worth exploring. I've also found that the Get It Done workshop is, like I said, because it's so specifically project-based, it will give you some additional support in, like I said, in the scheduling and the budgeting and we even talk a little bit about marketing and also some of those inner blocks. It's about both the inner and outer game of creativity. But I don't want to, step on anybody else's thing. Renee says, can't afford it. Will I stay the course? Right, exactly. So, the thing with money, here's what I notice about money. And believe me, I was a starving artist forever. It was rice and beans for me for years. I can do things with rice and beans you can't even imagine. I remember bursting into tears in Target because I couldn't afford a pair of yoga pants. I could not spend the money, the $16 to get a new pair of yoga pants. So I totally get the I can't afford it thing. But I also noticed that I found the money for the things that were most important to me. When you make a commitment, it's my experience that the money shows up. One of the years, that same year that I was in Target crying because I couldn't afford yoga pants, I went to Paris. How did I go to Paris when I was so broke? I don't know, but I did. I made it happen because it mattered to me, because I wanted it, because I made it a priority. So I'm not out to, stretch you beyond your, financial well-being. And like I said, it's $1 a day for your project. And it's not like if you don't spend the money on this, you're going to have an extra $365 at the end of the year. Right? The money is going to go somewhere. So you get to pick where it goes. You get to pick where it goes. And I don't need you to do this course, but you've got to get some support from somewhere because your idea that you can do it all by yourself is not working out for you. We've already tried this your way. We've tried this with you trying to do it all by yourself. And it's got you to here, which is excellent. But now if you want to get to there, you're going to need to do it differently. And you might need some guidance on that. Good. Victoria says, what keeps me stuck is thinking that it's not that great. So I basically stop because it isn't a masterpiece or not really important enough to create. Like, what's the use? Oh, Victoria, I'm so glad you said that. Okay. Because I really noticed this with creative people. I don't think this is, mostly we're just normal like everybody else, but there's a few ways in which we're different. And this is one of them. You have an idea and immediately you are comparing yourself to Martha Graham, to Mary Oliver, to Alexander Calder, to, like the greatest performers of all of history, to the greatest artists of all time. You're like, well, if I'm not Bob Dylan, really, what's the point? And other people don't do that. Accountants don't wake up in the morning and go like, well, if I can't win the Nobel Prize for, economics, what's the point? The point is it's you. It's your voice. It's your project. And it may be a masterpiece. It may also not need to be a masterpiece. Some of my favorite things are utter crap. And so are yours, right? That trashy movie you love, that dumb pop song you love. It's not great. It's just great, right? So let me remind you, Victoria, and all of you, you are a terrible judge of your own work. You are a terrible judge of your own work. You are especially a terrible judge of your own work that you have not created yet. So set the judgment aside. Set the fear of how it's going to be received aside, because you don't know. You don't even know what it is yet. You got to get into it. I had a client one time who was writing a memoir, and she had had a really grim set of experiences. I mean, let's face it, most of us are not exactly members of the Happy Childhood Club. But she had had a particularly dramatic series of events when she was a kid, and her family was particularly strange. And so she was writing this memoir, and she kept saying as she was doing it, like, I don't even know why I'm doing this. It's not like I can publish it. Like, some of these people are still alive. I cannot put this out into the world. And I was like, well, that may be, but let's just keep going. Just trust the process a little bit and see how it unfolds, see what happens. So she kept with it. She used Get It Done as sort of an organizing principle to help move her through it and move her past the places where she got stuck. And eventually she was done, and it was a hugely cathartic experience for her, just getting the story on paper, just getting it out of her head and written was a really big deal for her. And she kind of thought that was going to be it. She was like, okay, I wrote it, I'm done, that's good. So she put it aside, and then she wrote to me, and she said about 3 months later, she reread it. And she realized that if she changed a few names and some distinguishing characteristics, what she had actually written was a very dark comic novel. She had no idea that it was possible for her to fictionalize her own experience and create something not tragic, but really deeply funny, darkly funny, but really funny. So we don't always know where our projects are going. We don't always know where our projects are leading us. That's why your project didn't say, get me out into the world, I'm Leonardo da Vinci, you know, like I'm the Mona Lisa. Your project said, let's try. Your project says, trust me. Your project says, I'm here, I'm waiting. But that's really good noticing, Victoria. I'm so glad you said that. Lillian says, I'm using the excuse, I don't need a class, I'll do it on my own. So I already learned I need to include people into my projects. Thank you. This time I truly can't afford it though. Again, I'm not gonna argue with you about your bank account. I just want you to notice what you're spending money on and what you're not, and where your desire figures into that. And if you are putting yourself last on the list, I want you to move yourself further up on the list. You can also, by the way, you can join the 365 Club. That is $10 a month or $57 for the year, I think, if you pay for the whole year in advance. I don't know anybody who can't afford 57 bucks. So that'll get you the monthly call anyway. So if you're really having rent and grocery issues, that might be a good place to start. Diane says, it's true. During the course of this very call, I found out my tax refund that'll more than cover it. That's nuts. Woo, Diane, that's fantastic, right? Exactly. The minute you decide, your brain is so good at finding what it's looking for, it will find you $365. It happens all the time. I remember last year there was a woman who wanted to come to Big Yes last year. She was really lit up about it, and she was really scared, and but she committed. She was like, I'm buying the ticket. And the ticket's like 800 bucks, right? So she buys the ticket, and she's like, I don't know how this is going to work. The next thing she knows, she gets an email while she's still on the computer, just having bought the ticket. She gets an email from her landlord saying, hey, I've got a friend who needs some help with writing a grant. Could you help her, and I won't charge you rent next month? Like, when instant gratification takes too long, right? But you got to open yourself up to the miracle, right? You got to move in order for it to find you. You have to lift up your head. You have to take the risk. You have to decide. I wish it were the other way around. I wish you could not commit and still get the results of committing, but you can't. You just can't. It's like wanting somebody to fall in love with you without going out on the date. Like, you got to go on the date. You got to take the risk, and then you get the love. Good. Victoria says, thank you. That really hit the chord. Thank you. Thank you. Yep. It's true. Deborah says, that's so true. I think of Eric Satie and I feel so little. Right. Exactly. We're comparing ourselves to the best of all time. You may be the best of all time. We're not going to know. until maybe years after you're gone. But we're never going to know if you don't get your work out. So yeah, notice what thought is keeping you stopped, what thought is keeping you stuck. And if you're really stuck, like if it's upsetting you that you're stuck, make some 5-minute art about it. Just get those feelings out about, I don't think I'm worth it, or I don't know where that money's going to come from, or I don't trust myself, or I don't trust Sam, or whatever it is that's coming up for you, right? Get those feelings moving. Good. All right. So before we're done, I want to talk to you about this one more thing about this judgment thing, because it's huge. It's this, I don't want people to think that I'm blank, right? I don't want people to think that I'm stupid. I don't want people to think that I'm selfish. I don't want people to think that I'm untalented. I don't want people to think that I'm, self-aggrandizing, that I think I'm all that. I don't want people to think that my work is mediocre. Right. These are very legitimate concerns. And your parents and your teachers and your communities socialized you so that you could live successfully in the community. We are tribal animals, right? We care very much about the group. We know that if we get thrown out of the group, we get put on an ice floe and we'll die. Our survival brain tells us that. So of course you care about what other people think. Of course you do. Of course you want your work to be good. You want it to matter. You want it to contribute. You don't want to be thought of as grabby or selfish. You want to be a valuable member of the tribe, right? So your parents and teachers and communities spent a lot of time socializing you into that so that you would basically grow up and be a nice person. And guess what? It worked. You are a nice person. You are not selfish. You are not grabby. You do not do inferior work. You do not take from others without giving back. You do not, forcibly put mediocrity out into the world, right? It worked. You're a good person. Yay, it happened. But the way you guys are acting, it's like you've got to be on constant alert. I don't want anybody to think I'm selfish. I better not do anything that might look selfish. I better not do anything that might look like I think I'm great. And it's like you are reading the driver's manual every time you get in the car. Like, relax. You can trust yourself. You can trust yourself. In the same way that you can trust your driving, you know you're a good driver, and a couple of accidents doesn't make you not a good driver. You're a good driver. You know when to speed up and when to slow down. You know when to, you get it. You don't have to be so hypervigilant. It's the same thing with working on your projects, right? You're not going to suddenly turn into some selfish monster. You're not going to suddenly turn into, some other person who does crap work. So you can trust yourself. You can trust your project. You can trust yourself, and you can trust the community. You can trust me. You can trust the process. And you can use that trust to shore up your own faith. You don't have to have confidence in yourself. You just have to believe that I have confidence in you, because I know that you can do it. I know you can do it. You would not be here if you couldn't do it. You would not have sat through this entire webinar if you couldn't do it. You wouldn't even have heard of me if you couldn't do it. So if you're thinking, I'm not ready, I'm telling you you're ready. And I'm telling you that your belief that you're not ready is the thing that's keeping you stuck and feeling not ready. So I offer you the Get It Done workshop to help move you through both the practical, day-to-day, how do I actually do this stuff, and also the spiritual, psychic, emotional stuff. We work on both, and I would be honored to have you. It's a really fun community, and I'd be so excited to see what we would create together. And I'll do the How I Got Published call for you. So that's what I know. There's some really interesting territory out there, and I'd love to explore it with you all. Renee says, I like the idea of separating myself from the project as if it's one entity. Thanks. Yes, exactly. So go to monstergetitdone.com, monstergetitdone.com, and check it out. You won't see anything about the bonus publishing call on there because I just decided to do that the morning of this call. And not everybody's going to get it. Only if you buy before tomorrow, Sunday, the, 17th of April at midnight Pacific time. Good. Do you guys have any other questions, or is there anything else I can do for you? Anything that's unresolved? Anything that you're sort of hanging out on? Anything that's still got you a little stuck? Who's up? Good. Good. Let me see. All right, I'm going to hang out for just a minute because, like I said, there's this lag time between when you type and when I see it, and it's always it happens every time where I'm like, okay, bye, and then 3 questions pop up. There you go. Is the 365 Club only for writers? No, not at least. The 365 Club is for everybody, and you'll see there's teachers, and we've got a woman who makes paper installations, like sculptures out of paper. There's photographers and painters and illustrators and musicians, a bunch of musicians, some entrepreneurs, and some people who just want to zhuzh up their lives. You know, they wouldn't even necessarily describe themselves as artists or as creatives, but they like connecting with their own creative voice. They like trying new things. They like the daily inspiration that they get in the emails. They like the group calls. Graphic designers, cabaret singers. I'm trying to think who else is in there. There's a couple hundred people in the group, so it's great. It's a lot of fun. So yeah, good question. No, it's not just for writers. When are the payments due? The first payment gets charged right away, the 141, and then it's once a month. So it's 3 payments of 141 in April, June, and July. No, April, May, and June. Sorry, happening a month apart. Deborah says 365 Club is so cool and a really great place to get support and brainstorm. Yeah, it's true. It's a really lovely community. And, you know, there's not always places in the world where we can be really honest about where we're at in our creative process and be able to say, like, wow, I'm really struggling, or gosh, I got off to such a good start and then I haven't written at all in the last 3 months, or I haven't painted at all, or I haven't, you know, I got derailed because my mother got sick, or this happened or that happened. And to have a community of people around who go, it's okay, we get it. You're still a creative, you're still an artist, your work still matters, just get back on the horse, it's okay. And also to be able to celebrate, to be able to say, I sold it, to be able to say, I doubled my prices, to be able to say, I had one person come in one time, she goes, and so they asked how much I charged, and I said $6,000, and they said, do you take American Express? Right? And you can't always tell that to everybody. Not everybody in the world knows how to support you. Not everybody in the world knows how to accept good news. But this community loves to celebrate. So if you get your blog up, or you get your work done, or you have some little victory, you know, like I cleared out my closet. Not that that's little, that can be huge. People, you get oh my gosh, that's so great. Let me see, I can't wait, you know. And sometimes people ask for a review. Could you look at my sales page, or could you, take a listen to this? Does it sound okay? It's very active and lovely. And some people just lurk, they don't comment. They just sort of read and check it out and get inspired by other people's stories. That's fine too. So you don't have to participate in that, but it's a lot of fun. Suzanne says, you really inspire me. It seems like my heart wants to go to LA in July. Woo, woo. Well, this is absolutely the cheapest way to get a ticket to Big Yes, is to sign up for Get It Done. And then it's great. We have 8 weeks together to sort of get you moving. And then we've got Big Yes in July, and then the 365 Club calls every month for a year. So we really, it's $1 a day for your project, but you get a lot out of it. And there was just somebody who posted the other day about how they were noticing how different their life felt from a year ago, how different they felt about themselves, how different she felt about her work, how much more money she was making, how much more confidence she felt in her work. And And that just thrills me. That just thrills me to be able to see people, again, standing tall in their creative power. That's going to get me all kind of puddled up. It's what I want. It's why I created the Organized Artist Company, because I want a world in which everybody is spending at least 15 minutes a day on the projects that matter most to them. And I want us talking about it. So you get everything done for everybody else all day. I want you getting something done for you every day, something that only matters to you, or that matters most to you. Maybe it's your needlework. Maybe it's just staring at a blank piece of paper. Maybe it's stretching or breathing or singing, or playing an instrument. And then I want people talking about it, like the way people talk about their diets or their new exercise plan. I want people standing around the water cooler going, oh, I've been writing some crappy poetry. Really? I've been doing paint by numbers. I love paint by numbers, right? I want that conversation. That's the world I want to live in. That's my vision. That's what I'm trying to create. I can't do it by myself. I need you. I need you to do it with me. Terrific. Good. Anything else coming up for anybody? Any other questions? All right. Go to monstergetitdone.com, sign yourself up. And again, if it turns out not for you, just let me know and we'll give you your money back. No problem. Good. Excellent. I'm not seeing any other questions, so let's do one more round of breathing just to close out this circle and this time together. Thank you so much for being here. I admire you so much. I can't wait to see what you create. You ready? Let's inhale, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Thank you, everybody. Thank you so much for doing this with me. Bye, everybody.